It was over 2 days prior that Rainmaker had suspended all of its cloud seeding operations in Texas.
Here's the question. Were the deadly floods right here in central Texas contributed to or caused by a cloud seeding company messing with nature? Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, corruption, and help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. So I'm sure you've heard about them. Right here in central Texas, there were catastrophic floods 4th of July weekend. Well over, last count I see, you can see here, death toll is officially at 121. That's unfortunately expected to climb because hundreds more are still missing and they're not counted in the death toll unless they're found. So it is a tragedy. And some tragedies are just chalked up to Mother Nature. They're unfortunate. And some tragedies have a hand of man involved. Example, do you ever hear of the pandemic? Yeah, that wasn't so much caused by nature. There were the hands of man, evil men, seemingly involved in that, whether it was people making things in the Wuhan lab, or what's his name? Was it Dr. Fauci sending funds there? That's a tragedy that wasn't naturally derived. So with the Texas floods, there is real speculation that a cloud seeding company named Rainmaker may have contributed to them. We're going to look at what happened, and I'll give you my point of view along the way. We'll look at a couple interview clips because the 25-year-old CEO of the cloud seeding company Rainmaker, Augustus Druckus, I think is how you say his name, he is doing PR like it's no tomorrow. He's going on the news, national news, all these different programs, trying to save face and show his case for, yes, we were cloud seeding in Texas, but we didn't contribute to the floods. And even if a company like that did contribute to floods, you'd also expect him to be saying the same thing. So we'll present some of what he's saying. You get to be the judge. Now, by the way, cloud seeding, once upon a time, thought to just be a conspiracy theory. Like, wow, that's people who make it rain, they control the weather. That is nonsense. Like, well, it's like cloud seeding. It definitely happens. And here's the CEO of a company that does cloud seeding talking about, yeah, we do cloud seeding. Nuts and bolts of cloud seeding, they spray chemicals in the air, and that causes moisture in the air that's otherwise not in rain-forming clouds to come together and clump together enough that it falls as rain. I have some questions. I'm certainly not completely on board with that. I don't know if I'm any on board with that. One question is like, what are those chemicals? What are they? They're probably in the water, right? So what are those chemicals? But nonetheless, that's the nuts and bolts of cloud seeding. And Rainmaker, that's a cloud seeding company. And they were operating cloud seeding experiments or just cloud seeding in general right before the floods. Did they contribute to the floods? Well, the Texas Agriculture Commissioner dismisses cloud seeding conspiracy theories after Central Texas floods. So the Texas Agricultural Commissioner says, no, they didn't contribute to the floods. That's not necessarily conclusive. That's just what the Agricultural Commissioner says. And Augustus Dorico, here you can see his Twitter. He is a 25-year-old person, CEO of Rainmaker, the cloud seeding company, and he is taking a lot of crap online. He's done many tweets defending himself, gone on news. We'll see a couple clips, and here's just one of his tweets. The natural disaster in the Texan Hill Country is a tragedy. My prayers are with Texas. Rainmaker did not operate in the affected area on the 3rd or 4th, or contribute to the floods that occurred over the region. Rainmaker will always be fully transparent. All companies are always fully transparent, according to them. Pfizer is fully transparent, aren't they? We don't want to release the documents for 75 years. Is that cool? Because we're committed to full transparency. So his statement is they suspended cloud seeding operations 2 days before, so presumably somewhere between 24 and 48 hours before the floods came. And he's saying, yeah, so we didn't contribute to the floods. But some unanswered questions that I know I can't answer. I haven't seen a definitive answer. There's probably more of a scientifical kind of mind that needs to answer them is, okay, when you're doing cloud seeding, how long does that affect the rainfall? Like when you stop cloud seeding, is it instant? You suspend operations, now there's no more rainfall? Or the chemicals you spray to create rain, how long are they up there working? Is it 5 minutes? Was it 5 hours, 5 days? It's a good question. And here's the website of Rainmaker, the cloud seeding company. And I must say it's a rather crappy looking website. So as soon as the floods happened and it came out, hey, we know Rainmaker was doing cloud seeding in Central Texas. We need some questions answered. This guy, he started going on all the shows. Here's one of the first, call it damage control interviews he did. So you get to hear what he has to say from him, using your own discernment, how believable or not it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So this phenomena, this flooding, was global in scope. It was referred to as a low probability, high impact event. I encourage people to go to Matthew Kapuchi on X. He gave a great outline. He's a meteorologist that has a lot of expertise on severe weather forecasting. But Tropical Storm Barry, the remnants of which blew into Texas, was going to cause inordinate flooding regardless. And that area of Texas is also known as Flash Flood Alley because these events do happen. Now, 4 trillion gallons of precipitation occurring over the course of just a couple days is pretty out of distribution. But we are seeing an increase in these sorts of severe climatic events.
Keep in mind, he has a mullet. I don't know if that adds credibility or subtracts credibility. You be the judge.
Over time, and especially down and around the Gulf. So just to go over the timeline, after having clarified that it was the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry and the convergence of large mesoscale phenomena that induced that flooding, it was at about 1 a.m. on the 4th that the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning. And then it was at about 4 a.m. on the 4th where they said that there was a life-threatening emergency underway.
We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, do you ever wonder why your brain feels foggy, even when you're eating clean and exercising? Well, it might not be burnout. Might be parasites. Get this, groundbreaking research from Dr. Alan McDonald revealed a direct link between parasitic infections and neurological diseases like multiple sclerosis. Parasites can cause inflammation, nerve damage, and long-term cognitive decline. In my opinion, that is more reason to do a full body cleanse at least once a year. The Wellness Company has a solution for you. Ivermectin plus mebendazole. The gold standard parasite solution now combined in one cleanse combo. It's designed to eliminate harmful invaders and support your immune system naturally. And what I love about it is it's truly medical grade, not just a bunch of trendy herbs. All you have to do is fill out a quick intake form and then you get a 3-month supply shipped straight to your door. Maha is officially here and the Wellness Company is making hard to get medications digitally accessible so you can live your best life. Get it by going to twc.health/jpreacts and use code JPReacts to get $90 off plus free shipping. Cleanse your body today. That's twc.health/jpreacts. Now, back to the video.
It was over 2 days prior that Rainmaker had suspended all of its cloud seeding operations in Texas because, one, our forecasters and our meteorologists saw that there was going to be this severe weather event and we needn't operate to produce more water when there was already the event coming. But two, we suspended operations in accordance with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations suspension criteria, where if there is a severe weather warning from the National Weather Service or there is too much saturation of the soil, we have to ground operations. And so we do so both voluntarily and in accordance with existing statutes.
How's that register for you? Now, I've seen people online via my Twitter feed absolutely crucifying this guy and saying, yes, cloud seeding caused the flooding in Central Texas. Some of them I really respect. And I've seen others jump to this guy's defense saying, no, it wasn't caused by it. And one of the people jumping to his defense is the film creator Desh Duza. He did the 2000 Mules documentary, 2020 election. How you doing? Here's what he had to say. And this is responding to Augustus Dorico's tweet where he's saying like, hey, I'm getting death threats, but doxing my family, that's not okay. Here's what Dinesh says in response. Stop harassing this guy. He is a brilliant Christian man who is using technology to alleviate drought and bring modest rainfall to farm communities. His technology cannot and did not cause the Guadalupe River to overflow. Watch my interview with him on my podcast last Monday. And I think regardless of people who I've seen like support him and people I've seen trying to crucify him, none of them that I know of are really scientific minded where they understand cloud seeding exponentially more than I do. But it's just interesting seeing the opinions. Regardless of whether or not his company contributed to the floods, I don't think that's conclusive one way or the other yet. However, one question is cloud seeding. That seems kind of Bill Gatesy, trying to block out the sun initiative. Is that just playing God? Is that a human trying to play God? Well, here's what the CEO had to say in a sit-down interview with Will Kane.
People can listen to longer form interviews that you have done about some of the safety and research that you've done on what you use to cloud seed. Now, I want you to please address a larger question, which is one that is somewhat broad and perhaps even religious, but are you playing God? Are you messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with when it comes to the weather?
I get this question all the time, and I totally think it makes sense to ask it. My intention is to serve God. I think that in Genesis 1:26 through 28, and then throughout the Psalms and the rest of the Bible, God tells us to take dominion over and steward creation, both for our sake, creation's itself, and then to honor Him. And so if there are droughts, and we have the tools to mitigate the damage done by them for our sake and for nature itself, then we should deploy those for the sake of tending to and stewarding the world. And if we weren't to do that, if we were to ban cloud seeding wholesale, despite knowing that it's safe, despite knowing it could help alleviate these problems, we'd be abdicating our God-given responsibility to be stewards of the world.
So according to him, he's not trying to play God. He's trying to work with God as a servant to bring water to farms that otherwise would be not doing so well because of drought. That's a good thing to say. I'm not saying that's not what he's doing. I'm just saying, even if you were trying to play God, you would probably want to say exactly what he said to Will Kane, giving him the benefit of the doubt. If you look at, let's say you have a garden in the backyard, of course, you're not going to just let it go bone dry. You're going to get your garden hose out. You're going to water it, right? Awesome. That's in a way acting out of accordance with just untouched God-given nature. Because if you were just going, okay, God's way is going to happen here with my garden, you would just say, all right, when it rains, it gets water, and if it doesn't rain, it's not going to get any water. Now, you would get your garden hose out. You're using a man-made technology, bringing water from somewhere else, intentionally putting on the area that you think needs water. And then if you extrapolate that, you kind of like cloud seeding. That's like watering the garden with a lot more technology and a lot more impact. But then the question is is everybody under those clouds agreeing to that? And who is discerning how much water it needs and how much is too much and how much is not enough? That's why I think this cloud seeding question is absolutely different than I'm watering my garden. That's literally your garden. Water it, don't water it, burn it down, whatever you want. Well, with cloud seeding, the rain that falls, it's not going to be contained onto land that just this cloud seeding company owns. Could it be doing some good? I could imagine some farmers be like, amazing, my crops are doing well. I'm so glad for this. And I could imagine scenarios where a company decides you need this much water. And you're like, who are you to tell me how much water I need that you're just going to dump on me without me having a say in it? It's much more reasonable to ask the question, are they playing God? Versus a scenario where it's like, no, watering your garden, you're not playing God. But here, maybe you are. Speaking of God, here is a picture of the 25-year-old CEO with a godless Bill Clinton. Draw your own conclusions. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I'm just like, I wouldn't have a picture of me shaking hands with that man, but for whatever reason, he is. And for whatever it's worth, there's some Peter Thiel fans out there, and there's some people that think Peter Thiel is maybe the Antichrist. Peter Thiel, one of his companies, has invested in the cloud seeding company Rainmaker. Draw your own conclusions, but nonetheless, that's the information. And that's the speculation on, did cloud seeding contribute or cause the devastating, deadly floods here in central Texas? My concluding opinion is, I don't know, but these are important questions to ask. But let me know what your opinion is on two things. One, did the cloud seeding company contribute to the floods? And second, how do you feel in general about cloud seeding? I can tell you right now, I am very skeptical of it. But let me know how you think about it, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay free.